In this video, we're going to talk about portable charging options when your machine dies out on the trail. Coming up. What's up, guys? So today I wanted to go over a portable charging pack. In my last video, I had mentioned how I had to use this a bunch out on the trail, and I've never actually talked about it before, so I figured this would be a great opportunity to talk about it, show you it. A lot of people, this is kind of still a newer concept. I think they've been around a while, but a lot of people don't really know about them. And I got one this year, and I wish I would have gotten one a lot sooner. I love it. Now I keep it in the truck, and I take it on the trail when I ride alone. They're a great option. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this is a CYCMIA, super common brand, right? Obviously not. I'd never heard of them before, but I did a bunch of research before just diving right in and buying one of these, because let's be honest, battery packs are a hit or miss. You can buy it and it's great, or you can buy it and it's just awful and it doesn't last more than a day and it doesn't hold a charge, all that. So I did a bunch of research, and that's how I came to the conclusion on this one. Now, at the time of this video, you can get these for $49.99, I believe. So 50 bucks, really not too bad. Now, there is a more expensive one that I consider buying, and I'm gonna put a link in the show notes below for that as well, because if you're willing to spend closer to $75, you can actually get what I believe to be the next model up. So as you can see here, this is the main charging pack itself. Now, it's kind of an all-in-one, so it's meant to jumpstart your car, your ATV, your truck, whatever it may be. And in fact, while I'm on it, let's talk about that real quick. So when I was reviewing these or looking for these, I specifically wanted one that would also start my truck. And I have a 5.7 liter V8, so I wanted to actually be able to jumpstart a truck and not just a car, because you got to pay attention when you're buying these. A lot of them are good for small, you know, inline fours or V6 cars, but they're not meant for trucks. And let's be honest, if you're watching this video, there's probably a good chance you have a truck and that's what you're pulling your ATVs around. But even if you don't, you know, this one will still work great for a car as well. Now, if you have a diesel, for example, that might be a situation where this might not be the one for you. I would have to go look again. I believe you can use them for diesels, but only smaller diesel engines. Okay, so with this, it's kind of an all-in-one, right? You've got your inputs and your outputs. You can charge it via USB-C, which is awesome, because that's kind of the new style of USB that's hitting the market in the last year or so. That's where everything's going. So the fact that it already has that built in is great, because I feel like a lot of products still don't have that. The other one is the standard micro or mini USB, whatever it's called. You can charge either one that way, as well as using the USB over here. You can flip the cable around, and now you have an actual charging device. So this not only starts your vehicle or your ATV, but it also is a power bank. So that's another reason I like to keep it in my truck when I'm not out on the trail, is because for whatever an emergency situation, even if I don't need to jump start my truck, maybe I need to charge my phone because I'm having vehicle issues or whatever it may be and my phone's dead, I've always got a way to just charge it on the go. So again, you can plug that in. It comes with, this is what's great, a USB-C cable, a USB micro cable, an actual charger for the wall, as well as the jumper cables themselves. Now, these have this block built in where it plugs in here. This is actually supposed to be a safety mechanism as well. Apparently, it will prevent you from being able to hook up the cables wrong and provide a charge and, you know, possibly blow your battery or anything like that. Again, I've never tried it. I'm not going to, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take it for what it's worth according to the website. It's a safety measure. All right, so also on this is an emergency light, which you could use if it was nighttime and you were stopped on the side of the road. It'll blink red for you, obviously alert other vehicles that you're there, or out on the trail, it could be a great option because you could obviously use it in the woods at night to try and help other people find you if you're stranded and need help. Also on the side is a charge meter where you can actually check the charge to make sure that you have enough juice in there. I guess if you're gonna leave it for months at a time, it's probably a good idea to check it every month or two to make sure it still has a charge. I haven't noticed it draining at all. In fact, I have 100% charge right now and I haven't used it in probably about a month, so it seems to have not gone down at all. Really holds a charge. And then of course you have the case itself, which is another reason I really like this one. A lot of them didn't really have cases. They just had a little loose pouch or nothing at all, and it was just kind of all over the place. So it comes with a really nice case, zips up well, and yeah, that's really all there's to say about that. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons. First pro being, it's very small, right? I mean, you can jumpstart a vehicle with this versus the old days where you had all the jumper cables and you're shoving them into a big pouch. This is multi-use, so it'll jumpstart your vehicle, no issue. Jumpstart your machine, your side-by-side, whatever it may be, and it's small and portable. Now, when I'm out with other people, I'll usually just leave this in the truck so we can get back to it if we want. But when I'm out alone, I'll actually take it with, throw it in my backpack. That way, in case I have any issues, I'm not walking miles to try and get back to the truck and get it. Another pro is all the cables it comes with. As we already mentioned them, it comes with the jump starter cables, 2 USB cables, one micro USB, the other one USB-C, and then a power plug-in itself. So not all of them come with charging cables. That was definitely a benefit. I know most of us have enough of them laying around anyway, but still great that it comes with a few. You just leave them in the case. As far as the pack itself, it's pretty rugged. It's got a nice solid rubber case on it, which is great. And then the light on the front, so it's actually got 2 modes. So I mentioned that the SOS, the flashing red that you could do earlier, it also has a low and a high on the flashlight itself. So if you need to use it out on the trail to actually, whatever, look for something and do a little maintenance, you can always just pop that on and use it as a last resort as well. Okay, and finally the last big pro I want to mention, which I think is phenomenal, and I still don't quite understand how it's even possible, but they claim this will jumpstart a vehicle or a machine, your ATV, whatever, up to 25 times. Now, personally, I find that hard to believe, all right? I mean, 25 times is a lot. I don't know if they're considering that like already a decent charge and it just needs a little bump or what, but what I will say is if you saw my last video where I was having battery issues and I used this, I jump started it 4 times out on the trail. 5. I think it was 5 times out on the trail. Jumped it every single time without issue. So I know it will at least do 5 jump starts. Now hopefully you never have to do that many jump starts. If you use it, I would recommend charging it so you know you have a full charge the next time around. Okay, so now on to the cons. So there's a couple things about this that aren't so great. Number one, I read a bunch of reviews on this, and even though I haven't had issues with it, I noticed 1 or 2 from people that claim to have an extremely knowledgeable electrical background who tested these and said it's not the true 55.5 watts that it says it is. Now, okay, if that's a really big deal or not, I don't honestly know. I don't know if they're just trying to say, hey, this isn't exactly what it's claiming or not. But again, 55.5, I honestly don't know if that's a huge deal or not. From all the reviews I said, a lot of people had good luck with this. I personally have used this many times and had a lot of good luck with it. So if it's a little less than 55.5, I can't verify for sure, but I didn't have any issues with it. Second con are the instructions. Now in the box, there's this tiny little pamphlet of instructions that you wouldn't think you need, and generally you don't, but they're not great, and that was one of the complaints as well. The only reason you'd really need instructions is because there's a couple lights on when you're actually trying to jump start it that'll go green or red, and then a little boost button here, and just knowing what they mean and how to use them is kind of important. Now the instructions kind of explain it, and then there's just a little bit of trial by fire, but once you do it a couple times and use it, it makes sense and there's no issues with it. Finally, the last con is this will not jumpstart an entirely dead battery. All right, so in other words, if your battery has no voltage, no amperage, no charge at all, it will not jumpstart them. Now, that's usually not the case. If your battery dies, especially if you've been out using your machine or your car, usually it's not all the way dead. Even if you leave your lights on, generally speaking, it's not going to be all the way dead for a very long time. So the only instance I have noticed where it will not jumpstart a machine is when I had a bad battery that had not been used in 8 months. So I was able to use regular jumpstart cables from my truck to start that bad battery. But again, the minute I shut it off, even if I let it run, it wouldn't start up because the battery was bad. However, even though I could jumpstart with it, the battery pack still wouldn't start it. Now, it shouldn't generally be an issue, but I just want to put that out as a disclaimer. If you're trying to really like band-aid a battery that you have a machine that's been stored in your garage for a year and you're trying to use this to start it, there's a good chance it's not going to start it just because it's totally dead. All right, guys, that's all I got. I hope this was helpful. Think about hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on future videos. And if you've used this charger or a similar one, leave a comment down below and let me know which one you used and what your thoughts of it are. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the trail.